Hey, how's it going everyone? Hope you're doing great. So I'm going to try and keep this intro as brief as possible just because this is going to be one of the longer videos on my channel. But essentially what you're looking at over here is a whiteboard which me and my COO have spent the past week preparing. Now it's going to be going over all the essentials, not even just essentials, everything you need to know to start or scale your coaching offer to 100K per month. And if you're asking yourself if this actually works, we actually booked around 30 sales calls yesterday for my client on a $2,000 offer, and we've used this exact strategy to generate over $100,000 in info sales. And if you get until the end of the video and you want to implement everything that I talk about, or maybe there's just a few specific things that you want me to implement for your coaching business or low ticket school community, then you can book a call with me first, link in the description. And if you get until the end of the video and you're either a coach or creator who wants to implement everything that I talk about, or maybe there's just a few specific nuggets that you like that I talk about, then you can book a call with me first, link in the description. It's going to be a super simple, lean conversation between us, and I'm just going to be seeing if I can actually help you achieve your goals. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into this video. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly how you can actually optimize your content, then how you can do proper market research to build up your coaching offer or school community, how you can actually create your offer, how you can create the right funnel and create the right assets for your funnel, how you can prepare for a launch, how you can actually do the sales calls, how you can onboard new clients, how you can actually fulfill for the stuff that people are buying so you're not just running some sort of scam operation, and how you can actually scale up your operation. So obviously we need to start at the very beginning of actually optimizing your content, because it really just comes down to, if nobody knows what you're selling, how are they supposed to buy something that they don't even know exists, right? So if you're getting 0 eyeballs onto your content, I mean that's 0 people who have the potential to buy, right? So you need to be getting at least some sort of eyeballs on your content, but you don't want to get this twisted. Some people think making a lot of money just means trying to go viral and get millions of views or whatever, but that's simply just not the case anymore. I know people who have 5,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel who make way more money than guys with millions and millions of subscribers, and this is talking from someone who's actually behind these creators, behind these coaches, actually talking to them on a weekly basis and figuring out what their funnel is actually lacking, how much money they're actually making, and just exchanging insights. So it really comes down to the quality of your followers, but you still want to be targeting the right followers, and that's important here. So if you either are a coach or creator, you're selling some sort of high ticket or even low ticket service, product or service, whatever you're selling, these are the main platforms that you can do it on. This is the ecosystem that you want to build up. Now, I'm aware that there are different platforms like X, Twitter, whatever you really want to call them nowadays, but these are my favorite platforms, and I'm actually going to tell you why. Now, first off, we have short form platforms, right? We have TikTok and we have Instagram. Now, these are most effective for actually getting as much traffic as possible, but we also have platforms like YouTube that are the most effective for actually nurturing this traffic, and we have traffics like Instagram that are the most effective for actually converting this traffic. Now, I'm actually going to break down why these platforms are so good and why I'm actually talking about these instead of talking about Twitter or X or whatever platforms people are using nowadays. Now, with TikTok, your main goal here is to just get as many views as possible. Now, let me see if I can do a little bit of an eye, but your main objective on TikTok is to get as many views as possible, and from those views you want to just depending on your niche, you want to draw them into your YouTube, and on your YouTube is where you can actually nurture them, right? So it's actually like someone who's only seen you or watched your content for 1 or 2 minutes isn't going to give you $2,000 for your high ticket coaching program. But someone who's watched your content for, let's say, 30 minutes, I mean, they'll at least get on a sales call with you. And then from there, it's going to be your job to actually convert them. And YouTube is a really good platform for actually nurturing the audience, right? Exactly like I talked about up here. It's the most effective platform for actually nurturing that audience. And that's why you want to be using YouTube over pretty much every other platform to nurture audiences. But other than that, I also talked about Instagram being the most effective platform for converting traffic, right? But there's a really good reason behind it. I'm going to get into in a second. Now, instead of having the objective like you have on TikTok to actually get them onto YouTube and further nurture them, your objective here is to get them to follow you on the platform. And you may be asking yourself, why don't you just instantly drive them to YouTube? Well, it comes down to the features that Instagram has. Now, there's a bunch of features that Instagram has. Instagram's a really great platform, but there's one main feature which I just like so much, and it's called story sequences. If you can even just dial this one thing in, you'll be able to double your coaching business in the next month or two. I've been seeing people run $50,000 per month coaching businesses of story sequences alone. The biggest guys in this space are using them, and it's one of the most exciting things. I mean, I've created story sequences. I think it was a few weeks ago. I made a story sequence for one of my coach clients. He posted on his Instagram story. He made $20,000 just like that in 24 hours, which I think is absolutely insane. And I still feel like story sequences are just, one of those untapped things. So this is really important that you implement this into your strategy today. If you need help to implementing it, of course, you know what to do. You can be cool with me. But here's the important thing here. The biggest guys in the space, people like Jordan Brown, who are making $400,000 a month. People like Eddie Cumberbatch, who are making $430,000 a month. People like Cardinal Mason, who are making $600,000 per month. They're all using story sequences, and etc., etc. Literally everybody who's over $50,000 a month, they're all using story sequences, just simply because of how easy they are to make and how well, like the ROI that you actually get on your time. Just if you need a little bit of a cash boost, story sequences are the perfect way to get more calls into your calendar, right? So you may be asking yourself, what is the strategy? Well, it actually lies in the name, right? Story sequences, it's posting stories in a specific sequence, because just posting stories on your Instagram account, that's not going to get you any sales. You want to be very tactical and strategic about it. So this isn't really for everybody. This is purely for people who don't want to spend even more hours creating new content, don't want to find new people to go through the value funnel. So people who are actually going to get to know them, first of all, so going to see their content maybe 1 or 2 times on their feed, then they're going to get to like them. So, at some point, like when you see enough of somebody's content, you're going to at least like them to some extent, and then trust them. So trust them, you've seen their content maybe 10 to 15 times, and this is the point where you're actually following them. Well, I mean, this is just a long process to go through, and it just takes a long time to get new leads. And this is also for people who don't want to compete with everybody else for new leads. So this may sound a bit weird, but let's just put it like this. So you're in the SMMA market, and there's new people who are learning about SMMA, and they're going on YouTube and they're searching up SMMA. Who's the first person that pops up? Who's the first person that they actually click on? Who's the person that they're going to like the most, right? All these people on YouTube, all these people on Instagram, they're all competing for these new leads, right? The new people who are getting into the space, or even if it's not a business model, new people who are getting into fitness, let's say. Who are the first people that they're going to see? Or maybe who are the people who they're going to be able to connect with the most down the line? That's what it really comes down to, right? So this is specifically for people who want to tap into a huge warm lead list, which they already have, right? By the way, it's not your email list, it's a huge lead list, and it's a lead list of leads who already know, like, and trust you, which, as you coaches and creators know, is a secret formula to actually converting your audience. And it's a list that will buy, even if there's no absurd guarantee, $5,000 plus price tag, and the product isn't even that great. What I'm talking about is, of course, your story viewers, like it says in the name. Now, because if you really think about it, who are 90% of the people who are actually clicking on your story? Well, it's your followers. And most of the people who follow you have already gone through the value funnel, like I talked about before. It's people who've already gotten to know you. Again, like I said before, they maybe see you a few times, then they get to like you. They've seen you enough times to the point where they actually like you, and then to the point where they trust you, where they're actually following you, right? And the biggest guys in the space are tapping into this audience. So if you don't have the attention span of a goldfish, because this is honestly, I'm going to be dropping a bunch of gems in this video, but this is definitely top 3 over here. So if you watch until this end, at the end of this section at least, what you're going to learn is how story sequences, what are actually story sequences, because you've got in it, they're stories, but you need to put them tactically. What does this actually mean? How to use story sequences with 100% effectiveness, the secret story sequence formula, the best types of story sequences to post on your story, and an extra game plan for you to book 10 high quality appointments for your high ticket offer in the next 72 hours. And you can start the timer right now. So here's how the normal story sequence is structured. And by the way, an important thing to note with story sequences is that they're not to give even more value to your audience, because you're giving value through the reels that you're posting, through the posts that you're making, and etc., through actually interacting with your audience. That's the value part. Stories, or at least story sequences, are specifically created to sell your audience something. So when you're creating these and when you're actually doing the copywriting for them, you're not giving even more value. They already know what your offer is. You're just making it seem 10 times better inside of the story sequence, obviously with your power offer, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on in this video. But the first sequence is going to be building hype. The second one's going to be building hype, although you're going to want to hook here, but I'm going to get into that in literally 30 seconds. This is hype, and at the end it's going to be a call to action. So this could be, I don't know, a link to your website, a link to your calendar, them to DM you a certain keyword, or whatever it really could be. You just want your call to action at the end. And this is an example of that, what that could look like. You're going to have your hook over here, then you're going to have your story, you're going to have the proof that like your story actually exists, or whatever you're talking about actually works, and then you're going to have your call to action at the end. And you may be looking at this and you're like, okay, this seems a little bit too simple. This can't be making $20,000. It's just so simple, I'm telling you, but it's so effective. But there's still problems that come with it. Like, it's not too good to be true. Nothing's too good to be true. There's the big problem of audience burnout. Your audience can burn out extremely quickly, but lucky for you, there's a really good solution to this. Now, if we look at people like Iman Gachi, these people are posting stories of their lifestyle content. You see, this is lifestyle, you know, where he's showing off his watch. This is lifestyle where he's just like in the pool. This is lifestyle where he's just at his desk. This is lifestyle where he's at the gym. And this is lifestyle where he's working out. And this is all in the same day, by the way. If you follow him, you might have been seeing he's been posting a lot more lifestyle content recently, and especially a lot of lifestyle content before he posts his story sequences. Because even guys like Iman Gachi, they're also posting story sequences. And the rule that you want to follow here is that on your main account, you want to be posting 4 story sequences per month and unlimited lifestyle content. I mean, this guy, it's not like you want to have a cap on how many stories he posts per day. He had you can count this up. This is more than 10 stories, and they were all lifestyle stories. So there's no cap on how many lifestyle stories that you can post, but there is absolutely and utterly a cap on how many story sequences you can post. Because if every single time that your viewers are clicking on your story and they're thinking, oh, I'm going to get sold to again, you don't want that happening to you. What you want happening is that they're clicking on your story and, you know, they don't really know what's expected. And that's where you want to be, because then they're going to click on your story because they're curious. But you don't want them to be in this situation where they know that every single time they click on your story, you're just saying the same thing. You're always just doing a call to action, or even if you're doing a call to action and you're phrasing it differently, it's still a call to action. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to be in a situation where they're clicking on your story, they don't really know what's going to come up, and that's why they want to click on your story, right? And the second type of story sequences you can post through, the other, like how many, like you may have this account as well, is a clipping page, right? A page where you're just posting a bunch of reels. You're gonna have your main account for maybe where you're driving your traffic on from YouTube, but you're also going to have your side account, and this is usually for bigger guys. But after you see the story sequence strategy that I'm going to talk about right now, you're going to want to do something similar. You're going to open up your own clipping page, and this is why I love clipping pages so much. I mean, I saw a guy make like $16,000 in a day, not even from his main page, just from his clipping page, and it was nowhere near the page that Iman Gachi has. So here's an example of an actual low-key sequence. So this is something that you can post on your clipping page. And even if you don't have a clipping page right now, I really recommend you also watch this part, just because you're going to want to start a clipping page right after this. And then we're going to get into the actual story sequences that you can post for your main page. But as we're just looking at over here, this is just a normal story sequence, right? So, well, it's not a normal story sequence, it's a low-key story sequence. So it's a story sequence, but it's not like in-your-face call to action. So what we have right here is we actually have a win, right? He's pretty much just saying like, this is pretty cool. Somebody in my, so what he's selling, I should put this straight so that you guys have the context. But what he's selling is a low-ticket community, pretty much a little bit of a private Discord. And he's pretty much showing a win of someone in the private Discord. And then he's saying something like this just motivates me 2 times harder. Then what he's doing, he's just taking a picture of his food. He's posting on his story. You know, he's updating his audience. Then we have, again, he's just, I mean, he doesn't always post case studies like this. You don't want to show too much, because it gives them the impression that you're just shoving it down their throat. But pretty much he's just pretty much putting case studies here, because you can do this once every free days on low-key sequences if you're actually active on low-key sequences. And then do you want to go even more viral on social media? And then he just has a link here because he posts so much lifestyle, so not lifestyle, low-key sequences. They already know what's coming, they already know what he's selling, so at this point he can literally just put the link, put the name of his private Discord, and they already know what it is. Then here is something that's actually pretty interesting, and I'm going to start testing this for a few of my clients as well. Now you can do this right before a story sequence, and then after that you can post a sequence, right? So let's just say after this would be the actual story sequence on a main account. But this is also, I've tested this for, you know, accounts that are smaller, not smaller, but the clipping pages, and this works extremely well. So what he's pretty much saying here is one day your dad's going to ask you why some people have so much money, and then he's going to say, I hope you know the answer. And this is pretty much just a motivational thing. You obviously don't need to say this, but you can just give a little bit of motivation, where in the first story you're pretty much asking a question, and in the second story you're pretty much copying the last story, you're making the background a little bit darker, and then you're pretty much just giving the motivation or whatever. Here he's reposting a reel that he posted on this account earlier that day. Here he's reposting a story that somebody posted of his private community, and here he pretty much went out to get food, or he got Uber Eats, it came to his place, and something funny happened here. I don't know what happened because obviously it's just a screenshot, but something funny happened here, and this would be classified as lifestyle content. Here he got a DM, and then he's pretty much just making the response inside of his story, just giving everybody in his community the value. So he's pretty much just saying, like, I think this guy's asking some sort of question, and then he's like, consistency is key. The more you focus, the more. Sorry, let me just read this. Yeah, he's pretty much just saying, like, multiple years of focused work really adds up, and this is important, right? This is a little bit too cool to action-ish. This, like, it's a little bit down your throat, but it's not that bad, right? If you just put the tone down a little bit less than this will be a perfect low-key sequence. And low-key sequences, you can post these every 2 days, I'd say. Like, I wouldn't post them every single day, but every 2 to 3 days you can post this, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work really well. And you don't want to post any too shove it down your throat story sequences on your clipping page, just because people won't click on it at all. You really want to do low key on clipping pages, and you have a little bit more access, and you can actually do a little bit more on your main account. So here, let's go back to the main account, 4 story sequences per month. And you want to be posting a lot of lifestyle content if you're doing 4 story sequences per month. And 4 story sequences a month, that's just 1 per week. So it's pretty simple. And let's just go over an example. This is actually just one that I did for a client, which I thought was pretty good. So hooks. Guys, please, I've been seeing so many people in the coaching community that are just not taking advantage of hooks inside of the story sequence game. So we have hooks, big announcement, and this is instantly hooking them in. You want to think of story sequences a little bit like reels, so structured in the same way. So big announcement, and this pretty much just hooks them, right? They want to read through the whole thing. Then I'm saying, I'm about to give you access to something I spent the last 30 days writing and summarizing. So, you know, building a little bit of hype, just like I talk about. I can't really post it here on Instagram because it's kind of personal. So far, I've only shared it with a couple close friends and family members. Still building hype, you know, building that momentum. What is it going to be? What is it going to be? It's something I've been reminding myself before every trade for the past 2 years, every single one. Without it, there's no way I would have come close to making hundreds of thousands of dollars free trading in Forex. Again, building that momentum, going up. So here's what I'm going to do. Again, still building that momentum, going up. I'm about to drop a link to a newsletter, and to be completely honest, I've been gatekeeping what I'm about to share in this newsletter for the past 2 years. Starting on the 19th of October, I'll be sending one core principle per day on how to trade Forex profitably. Then again, building the momentum. This is just getting a little bit out of hand because it's going to ruin up the Miro board. Let me see if I can actually. All right, well, that's not working. That's fine though. You guys get the point. It just keeps going up. He's building a lot of hype. The information I'm about to share with you in this newsletter will be better than what 99% of gurus charge thousands of dollars for. That is my promise to you. And then here, this is pretty much the call to action. What you want to do with every single call to action is build a little bit of scarcity, right? So 78 out of 200 spots filled. This is great, but if you're selling a high ticket offer, you can be like 5 spots available full or 3 out of 5 spots filled, whatever you really want to say. If you're doing a story sequence, you can even, if this would be for a high ticket coaching offer, you could follow up with that story sequence. So let's just say this is another story sequence, and you'll be like, you can put like an arrow going back, and then you'll be like 3 out of 5 spots filled already. DM me keyword or click on the link, which would pretty much be your call to action to get the last spot or whatever, right? So that would be an example of a pretty simple story sequence, nothing too crazy. This would be more low key. So it's like there are some shove it down your throat sequences, but I don't recommend using those. I recommend using something a little bit more low key, a little bit longer, a little bit that's giving some sort of value, but it's not really value-ish, like something like this. It's interesting to read and it's not shove it down your throat. Then we have something like this, which is actually on Iman Gadji's account, Chat with Iman. So it's not his main account, but it's one of his accounts where he's pretty much, I'm pretty sure the idea of the account is pretty much to attract. So this would be perfect for you coaches and creators selling high ticket coaching. He's pretty much attracting, he's pretty much trying to attract clients for his 8FL program. And his 8FL program is, from my understanding, helping build people's personal brands, and it's $18,000. So keep that at the back of your mind. If you're using this strategy and your, I don't know, high ticket offer is $6,000, I mean, it's going to sell like hotcakes, right? His is 3 times more. So let's dive into this one as well. Here we go. So we have a lifestyle to kick it off. It's pretty cool. Then he's answering a few Q&As. He's doing this about 4 to 6 times. So you can see it here. I mean, he's answering quite a few questions. And then only over here, he's saying building a personal brand is the biggest cheat code to life. I've done it better than anyone else. This is what I help my clients do inside of 8-figure license. Taking on 5 clients for November. So you guys can see here, he's building scarcity. DM 8FL. That's the call to action if you want to join. And now this is pretty much what happens after this is interesting. So this is pretty much what I talked about over here. If you follow now I'll get into that in a second. If you followed my event last week, you would have seen I sold 1 year of subscription of my software Flowsy last week. Made $1 million in the first day, few million that week. This is normal for me ever since 2022 when I took my personal brand seriously. He's actually showing the proof. So when we actually go back to how the story sequences actually work, you can see here, this is pretty much the proof part. Let's just get back down. I make millions of dollars profit from my smallest business, my eyewear brand, Gadji. How do you not see this yet? Personal brand is the key to everything you want in life. This is pretty much the proof. And then I don't accept people with coaching courses in trading or forex or anything OnlyFans webcam related. I'm not sure if that's going to put my engagement down on YouTube, so I'm not going to say it, but you can pretty much read the word there. We know is way too effing powerful to give it to industries I don't align with. Nothing personal and no judgment, but there's a few kinds of people or industries we both work with. I make way too much money to compromise on my values. And here he's doing something interesting where he's pretty much saying how good his product is without directly saying how good his product is. Now this story sequence is really good. The only thing that I would change it's a low-key sequence, so there's different sorts of approaches you can take with it. Obviously he's not trying to kill his audience here. This is the first few stories that he posted, but what you're going to want to do here at the end is another call to action. So in here I would say DM, and then his call to action now I'm pretty sure was 8FL. So DM, this looks horrible, I don't have enough space, but you guys get the point. DM 8FL, right? And then that would pretty much be a call to action. And then I add a little bit more info up here, and then DM 8FL would be a little bit bigger. And then from there, obviously his DM setters would be qualifying. They'd be pretty much be qualifying everybody who's messaging them, and then they'll be sending them a link to a calendar or just a calendar where they can actually book in the call. And the last thing that I want to talk about story sequences, by the way, there's going to be timestamps on this video just because I know this is going to be one of the longer videos, but there's going to be timestamps so you can just skip ahead or whatever. But I really do recommend watching through the whole thing because there's a bunch of value in this video. Now, here, this is another Eddie Cumberbatch. This is pretty much This is actually talking about the guy who we talked about up here, Eddie Cumberbatch. So it's this guy right over here, if you guys are curious. He has 180,000 followers, and then this guy is asking him, Eddie, how did you do on Close Friends? Got 50k views on the first story, consistent 30k now when I post to Close Friends. Used to get 5 to 10k on a normal story and 20k-ish on good stories. So views are up by triple, right? And this is another strategy which you can implement. I've been seeing a lot of guys implement this, and we're slowly but surely also implementing this for our pretty much just our clients in general. The only problem with this is it's pretty expensive. It usually starts at around $1,000 a month. You get it for free when you actually work with me and my team, which, by the way, if you want to do so, you can book a call with me, first link in the description. But it's a pretty cool strategy. It's pretty much just close friends. You can ask around or just send me a DM on Instagram and I'll help you out with close friends stories. Just it's not part of my package. It's not what I sell. I pretty much sell the whole growth package, but this is what some people sell as a main offer. And just a heads up, it's pretty expensive. So if you don't really have the funds, I don't recommend going to this route straight away. I recommend just starting with normal story sequences, getting the initial funds, and then with those funds investing into close friend stories. And obviously you want to keep some money to yourself. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is your actual mechanism of nurturing the audience, because we talked about, okay, I mean, after we get them to follow, what happens after that? We're gonna have the link in the stories, right? Link in the bio. What's the link in the bio gonna be? 99% of the time is gonna be the YouTube link. What are stories gonna be? Obviously these aren't gonna be story sequences going to the YouTube videos, but they're gonna be one slide stories, which are pretty much gonna be like, yo, I post a new video, if you're interested you can watch it here, right? So stories, what is this driving to? It's all driving to YouTube. Why? Because we talked about it before. Most effective platform for nurturing traffic, right? And that's extremely important. And with YouTube, the biggest mistake that I see people making is they overcomplicate the entire YouTube process, and you just do not want to do so. That's the worst thing you can do. Just don't overcomplicate it like William Brown over here. You can see William Brown, 67,000 subscribers. That's just, before I tell you some numbers, let's analyze some of his posts. 22 minutes, so we're actually focusing on time. They're not 3 to 7 minute posts. How I'd make 10k a month ASAP if I had to start again. So really no fancy titles, not even a thumbnail. It's literally just a specific second of the video, and he just took it like that. So no fancy thumbnail, 500,000 views, and we're not going for views. This isn't me saying go for views. This is me saying he converted a crazy amount of views. I think for every 600 views that he gets on his channel on average, I actually watched one of his breakdowns, 600 views that he gets on his channel, he gets one paying customer. Now tell me anybody else in this space that's getting one customer for every 600 views. It's absolutely insane, right? And the trend follows, right? I mean, here I just filtered for the most popular videos. Most of his videos get between 5 and 10,000 views, but step by step, how I made 16.4 million. It's just, it's really, he's not overcomplicating the process, and the videos that he's posting right now, he's also not overcomplicating the process. It's super easy stuff. He made this thumbnail. All right, fine, this is a thumbnail, but he made this in Canva. I know this Canva font, he made this in Canva. So he literally made this himself. I showed Mike Ferguson how to make an extra 100k a month or so. You really don't need to overcomplicate it. Like, you don't need thousands of dollars a month on a YouTube team. You just need to make super simple content. Because is your goal to go viral and get millions of views on YouTube? No, your goal is to actually target your ICP and only speak to your ICP directly. So when you have these platforms, let's say Instagram, when you have these platforms like TikTok, you want to actually redirect them here, and our goal is just further nurture them. So why are you trying to rank and get millions of views when you know that your goal is to just further nurture this audience, right? And obviously, just some quick tips I can throw out there just from this channel. I've made a bunch of money off of this channel, attracted my ICP, I've got a really good network just off of this channel alone, and these are the tips that I'm using, and this is what William Brown is also using. So if you're interested in just further nurturing Instagram audience, this is what you should do. Longer content performs better. Value is the most important thing. When you're watching this video, the amount of value that I'm giving for free, the amount of value that most people would charge thousands of dollars for, you're getting it all for free in this video, right? So it's an insane thing. It's my pretty much unique selling proposition where I get tons of DMs. Even when I deleted a video one time, I started getting DMs like, yo, can you put it back up? I saved it in my notes. I wanted to watch it again. And I just sent them the Google Drive link so that they can actually watch it. But value over everything, right? Because with value, people are actually going to see, they're going to stand out. Because if nobody's giving value nowadays, it's all just click me click me, whatever, right? But then you have to think, if somebody clicks on your video and they see, oh, this guy actually knows what he's talking about, they're going to know, like, and trust you so much more, and they're going to have such a higher chance of actually buying your product. Again, fancy editing doesn't matter anymore. I'm getting thousands of views on my videos right now. Zero editing. Like, I really just don't edit, right? It's really, really minimal editing. And the last thing that I want to talk about in terms of YouTube account optimization is the Jogster effect. And this is really, really important if you're just trying to nurture your Instagram audience. Say your Instagram account's pretty big, this is perfect for you. And even I would say like Q4 time this year, it's working really good. So let's jump straight into it. Now, the Jogster effect is really interesting, because what you're doing is you're pretty much creating a video that drives a lot of curiosity. The Jogster effect is all about curiosity, and William Brown mainly talks about it. So you're driving curiosity. Let's just take this video as an example. It's his most popular video with 500,000 views. Now, if you're looking at it, the thumbnail, it's like there's no crazy editing on the thumbnail. There's not like some graphic designer behind it. He literally just took a part of the video, he's showing it, and it's like, okay, it drives curiosity. There's a nice view in the background. They might want to hear what he has to say. Then the title, it's not that complicated. Not every letter is written big. It's just how I'd make 10k a month ASAP if I had to start again. It's super, super simple. And the last thing is that they're pretty long videos, which is also important. And when they click on the video, you need to give them immediate value if you're using this, because you seem a little bit unprofessional. You need to clear up all that unprofessionalism with the instant value that they're going to get through the video. And that's exactly how you use the Jogster effect. Now, okay, we have all the optimization in place. What do we do from here? Well, we can use the 222 content strategy, which is the same as Alex Ramosi. So we're running top of funnel content. Top of funnel content is pretty much just, I'm going to explain this with a few examples in a second, but it's pretty much top of funnel content, middle of funnel content, and bottom of funnel content. Now, there's so many different variations of the three, and I'm going to break them all down. So here's some examples of the top of funnel content. We have videos like Daniel Dalen, who, like, POV, life as the 27-year-old 8-figure founder or whatever, right? Day in the lives. Again, day in the lives. I bought a Lamborghini Aventador, my new $20 million house drive. I mean, this is Jake Paul. It's just to set the example. It's just videos that everybody would click on, right? I mean, day in the lives, buying a Lamborghini, whatever. This appeals to such a broad audience. Then what we're going to do, we have all these views coming in. We want to actually niche down a little bit, but we can't niche down too hard, because then no one's going to know what we're talking about. We just need to niche down a little bit. So then we have the middle of funnel content, which is perfect at doing that. Now, middle of funnel content is usually, the best way I can describe this is just giving them a full guide, right? And it doesn't have to be a detailed guide, it's just a full guide. So how to start day trading in 2024, how to start reselling sneakers in 2024, full growth operating guide, getting rich slow, and no BS guide, right? This is the types of videos that's going to get the people who are seeing you for the first time, maybe getting to know and like you, to actually getting to trust you with this sort of content, and actually get interested into the business model, or really whatever that you're selling, right? So you're getting them a full guide, or just giving them a little bit of a sneaker peek, but you're not being specific yet. And then the bottom of funnel content is where you really get to be specific. You're talking about, let's say, buying sneakers, right? You're reselling sneakers. What's a specific topic in there? Okay, well, buying sneakers in bulk, or how to actually start copywriting. I mean, this is also one of those guide videos, but I thought that this was perfect just because it's like he went specific in this video, or the best outreach script for copywriters. Copywriters only know that they need a outreach script after they watch a full tutorial, after they watch like a full breakdown video. Like, these are the steps you need. Oh, they're going to figure out, okay, I need to learn how to do outreach. How do I do outreach? They're going to type it up. They're going to see this is the more in detailed stuff. And when they have enough information, they're finally going to go to your course. But it needs to be an entire cycle, right? You need to get them first top of funnel content. Then they're going to be interested. Then they're going to want to interest in your business model or whatever you're selling. And then you're actually going to convert them with this type of content. The last type of bottom of funnel content that I really want to talk about is case study content. This is important. You're going to take the successful case studies that you have. You're going to film them. You're going to create a little bit of an interview video, and this is going to build insane trust, because this is building undeniable trust that what you're doing actually works, right? So in terms of content, you really just do not need to you really just don't need to overcomplicate it. If you have this structure in place, you're pretty much going to be ahead of 90% of people. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is market research, because market research is one of the things that I do for my clients that everybody else is missing out on, and this is why I make my clients so much more money. Literally yesterday, we booked 30 sales calls. What actually went into booking those 30 sales calls? Well, we did market research. First off, we did market research calls, which I'm going to talk about here. We did over 10 market research calls. We had a 20-page market research doc where we're just talking about the pain points, the desires, the gap, the dream outcome, and etc. But I'm going to get into this in just a second. But the key point when you're doing market research is to actually get the data, and your audience decides what you sell, not you. This is the mistake that I see way too many people making. They just assume what their audience wants. You can't do that. You can't just assume that your audience wants to buy something. You need to ask your audience, what do they want? And then you're just going to be supplying the demand, right? So what's step one to the process? How do you actually do the market research? Well, you need to brainstorm what people want. Now, I know I'm not saying brainstorm and then instantly implement it. All I'm saying is that you need to brainstorm, and then after the brainstorming, after you a little bit, when you're running the market research calls, when you're in the DMs or whatever, you can ask them, well, which one of these do you think would be the best, right? So you're just brainstorming a few ideas. You're having conversations with your audience, so this is going to let you extract the pain points and understand their desires. You're just combining the both, right? So you need to get a good understanding of your following. If you have under 10,000 followers, I recommend just doing DMs and calls. So in the DMs, if you're having good conversations inside of the DMs, you might post up a story being like, yo, DM me or whatever, and then inside of the DMs, you're going to be getting the pain points. And if they're being active and they're actually talking to you well, then I would ask them to get on a call, because calls are really key, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah, exactly, I have it here. Calls are key because you get to dive deeper onto the pain points. You really get to dive a lot deeper. And if you have over 10,000 followers, then what I recommend is doing a type form, and if you get the detailed type form responses, just get them onto a call. Now, you may be asking yourself, how are you actually going to get these people onto a call, or even just respond to you to begin with? So if you're on Instagram, I recommend doing a story poll, just posting up your Calendly link, doing a type form or post the DMs. On YouTube, it's really just type form and Calendly. On Twitter, it's type form and Calendly. On emails, it's type form and Calendly, and that's pretty much it. You really don't need to overcomplicate it. Even though in emails, I would even say you just completely just straight up type form, and the good type form responses that you do get, then you actually book onto a call. But again, calls are really key just because you get to dive so much deeper onto the pain points. And you may be asking yourself, okay, I have the person on the call now, what do I actually talk to them about, right? Well, on the call, you need to discuss the following stuff. What's the promise or dreamland? What's the problem? What's the journey of these potential clients? What's the problem list? What are the desires? What's the desired situation? What is the gap? How do they actually bridge the gap? What's the unique selling proposition? What are the unique selling proposition details? Why should they actually believe you? What are the features and benefits? What are the deliverables of the actual product? What are the high ticket? What could the sales argument be? What are the customer verticals? Like, where do they live, and etc. What are potential questions that they might ask? Because like, you can literally just ask them, like, do you have any questions? And then you write these questions down, and then you're gonna write down the objections. So you can be like, okay, if I had this ready for you right now, would you be interested in buying? And they'll be like, yes, but, and then everything that comes after but, you're going to write down, because that's going to be the objection. Now, step 2 of this, after you've done this, you've run a few market research calls, is you're actually going to analyze, well, they're not even sales calls, you can really just call them market research calls, and you're going to talk with your current clients. So if you have any current clients, you just want to talk to them and be like, what can I add to make this even better? And if you don't have any current clients, you don't have to do that, but I definitely recommend analyzing the market research calls. And analyzing your sales calls, you're going to look at the common objections. What's the big problem? What's the main bottleneck? Why did they get on the call? What did they say before and after buying, right? And what you're going to talk about with your previous clients, you're going to be like, okay, what do I actually ask them? Well, it may seem a little bit obvious, like, how can you make this better? But you don't want to say that directly, because they're going to be like, yeah, it's perfect already, or whatever. You need to be specific. So are they getting results? Are they grateful? Do they enjoy the community? Do they find the product useful? What would they change? Would they buy it again? These types of questions that dive deep, because if you just say, rate it from 1 to 10, or how can I make this better? They're really just going to give you a broad response. So you want to go in with these questions specifically, and you want to keep your goals in mind at all times. Gather as much data as possible. That's number one. Deeply understand your customers. Understand your audience's exact pain points, creating your unique selling proposition depending on your specific audience, not your niche's specific audience, which means that your specific audience is going to be better than, it's going to be more niched. Like, your specific audience is going to be different to just your niche specific audience. You want to talk to your specific audience specifically. So let's say, for example, you're selling a course on how to start a social media marketing agency, and maybe your audience specifically is primarily women, and that would be an insane unique selling proposition for you to stand out from the entire competition, right? And just finding these little things could be the difference to a 20k launch and a 100k launch, because these are the details that we look for during the market research. And the whole market research process really just revolves around figuring out what's their demand, and then at the end you're just going to supply the demand. And it's really simple. I don't want you to overcomplicate the market research, but then again, it's crucial that you actually do some sort of market research to figure out if there's any really unique selling propositions that you can take on your offer. Because if you figure out that in your audience, a majority of them are women, that's just an insane unique selling proposition. And you want to find these little things, because you might be thinking, yeah, I know my audience or whatever, but you want to really dive deep. And this is extremely crucial. And I see so many people missing out on so much money just because they don't dive deeper onto the market research. And when you have your content optimized and you have the market research, from here you're going to need to create the offer, because after you have the market research, only there you can start creating the offer. You can start creating the VSL, you can start creating the landing page, you can start doing all these things. You can only do that after you finish the market research. So the important thing here is that you're going to use your new data to create the offer around what everybody in your audience already said that they wanted. So we're not just guessing. It's not a guessing game. We're doing off of previous proven data. So there's two types of offers on social media. There's an offer statement and there's a power offer. So an offer statement would be the first phrase that they read on your sales page. For example, agency owners, coaches, and consultants. You're one step away from learning how you can fill your pipeline with 30 to 100 qualified appointments every single month, guaranteed, right? That'd be first phrase on the sales page. There's also a power offer, which is a direct offer to people. This is what you hear people when they're saying they're offering reels or on their stories or whatever. This is a power offer. So for example, an offer statement would be a quantifiable end result with a time frame, niche, risk reversal, and unique mechanism. Pretty much the Alex Hormozy or pretty much framework that you hear in his $100 million offers. So in terms of quantifiable end result, the final result or transformation that you offer has to be quantifiable, right? So the progress that leads to the final outcome should be easy to track, right? The time frame, when people buy, speed is really the key in business. So the time frame to achieve the outcome is one of the most important things that people are looking for. Then risk reversal, you want to take all the risk away for them. This is where the offer, you're pretty much making the offer seem a little bit too good to be true, and you don't pay or work for free until you do. That's an example of risk reversal, right? So you don't pay, for example, we'll book you 100 qualified appointments, or you don't pay, or we'll book you 100 qualified appointments, or we'll work for free until we do. Or the niche, be specific to who you're selling to. Again, this is what I talk about again, unique selling proposition. You want to use this is extremely important, right? You know how to talk only to the certain people, right? You only want to talk to your niche. Everybody else you don't care about. It's quality over quantity. Same thing with sales calls. If you book 100 sales calls, but let's say 30% of them are qualified, you didn't really book 100 sales calls, right? There's a really big difference, right? So you want to be qualifying people, you want to be canceling appointments, you don't have the budget, you want to be doing all of these things. And the last thing and the most important thing is the actual unique mechanism. And this is why they should choose you instead of everybody else, right? It's your unique method to achieve the desired results. So let's just take an example. I help niche do goal or final result in time frame using the unique mechanism without pain point and risk reversal, right? Or this is an example of a power offer that I made for one of my clients. Huge announcement. I probably get 10 messages every day of people out of this Discord asking me XYZ. Because of this, I've spent the last 30 days writing and summarizing the exact 5-step process I've used to XYZ. I don't care if you're X, Y, or Z. This applies to everyone doing X, and I want you to take full advantage of it. And to be honest, I've been gatekeeping this for the past 2 years. This is the exact thing I've read for the past 2 years before every X, every single one. This isn't going to be your average information you get from watching YouTube videos. I've seen people charge over $10,000 for these exact principles, and over the next 5 days, I'm going to be emailing them to all of you. Here's how it works. Over the next 5 days, I'll send one principle to you via email. You'll have the opportunity to read through it, take notes, and instantly implement it into your trading strategy. I'm giving you in here all early access, and I want every single one of you to take this opportunity seriously. Join before it's too late as the actual call to action. And of course, that's highlighted because when they click on it, they're actually going to get the link. Now, this would be an example of what you could post in your Discord channel, your Telegram channel, or maybe even a Instagram group chat, right? And this is extremely important. And 3.5, because I feel like this takes... it's a whole entire thing about the offer, right? Because when you're creating your product, what you're doing is you're essentially creating features, and features is what people actually pay for, and this is why it's so important. For example, let's talk about a few products that you could create. We have coaching one-to-one, so this would be 5 to 10 clients, 4 to 10k price point, 30 to 120 days, one-on-one weekly calls, 24/7 access to your private phone number. That could be a unique selling proposition, and you're pretty much getting the best results, right? And this is another thing that I want to talk about. Coaching offers, when you're doing one-on-one coaching, you're always going to get the best results with one-on-one coaching. Then we have coaching one-to-many. So here you can take on 10 to 20, 30 clients, 3 to 8k each, 30 to 120 days, 3 hours a week on group calls, monthly one-to-one calls, community plus text, and pre-recorded foundations. Then on an inner circle, you can really just get 200 to 100 clients, 20 to 100 clients, all at 3 to 6k each. 30 to 120 days, 1 hour a week on group calls, 2+ weekly calls with the team, coaches for students and community, and pre-recorded course. And then we have a high-level course. This could be 50+ clients, 1.5k to 5k each, lifetime value, weekly calls with you and your team, and fully pre-recorded course. So this would be similar to what Iman Gachi was running back in the day. Then we have purely course. You can have infinity clients, something similar to what Mia Heza was running back in the day. I really do not recommend doing a course, but if you want to, you can get a really infinite amount of people, $300 to $1,000 lifetime weekly or monthly calls with you or your team, fully pre-recorded course, and it's made for beginners. Now, the main thing to note here is that you don't need to really be running sales calls for this. You can really just have a landing page and get, I wouldn't call it passive income, but you don't have to do sales calls. So it's sales call, it's a seamless process, right? But you're going to make a lot less money too. Then we have a community, so infinity amount of clients, $25 to $250 a month, weekly, monthly calls with you and your team for special news, made for beginners, quick pre-recorded course, and the main asset is pretty much the main asset that people are trying to get inside. And this is all good. Now, for most of you, especially the smaller people watching this video, I definitely recommend going this route right here. 4 to 10k one-on-one coaching, you're going to get the best results, which you can further leverage to actually, run ads or even just organically get more people, because getting those results is going to build undeniable proof. And let's say you make 100k doing this, and then from there you can actually transition to one-to-many, inner circle, high-level course, just a course, community, whatever. But I recommend starting with coaching one-to-one, because you're really just going to get the best results to begin with. And now you're looking at this and you're like, okay, this sounds interesting. How can I actually host my course? Well, there's different platforms, and there's not just all-in-one fix. And I want you to get that out of your head. It's not just all-in-one fix, but these are pretty much the best platforms you could do so. So on Skool, you can have the best course, right? So it's really easy to organize, a leaderboard, a challenge where you see over here, where people can actually unlock different stuff at different stages of their journey. On Discord, you're going to have a community, something similar to this, a start here, place new members where people can introduce themselves, announcements, recordings, daily source, where people can ask questions, main chat, wins, share source, and then here, maybe beginning of the day form, work form, end of day form. So this would be more of a business opportunity type of thing. And then here you can have average Q&As that people ask in your niche specifically. And then for one-to-one calls and group calls, I really do recommend Google Meet. It's absolutely phenomenal platform, but it is a little bit preference if you'd rather Google Meet or Zoom. I personally prefer Google Meet just because it's so seamless for people who don't have Zoom already installed. It's a little bit of a pain with Google Meet. You just send one quick link over and it's super simple. Now, the goal here is to actually find a phrase that can sell itself, that's inside of the offer, have a product or service that can get crazy results, because obviously you can leverage these crazy results to get crazy results for yourself in terms of like crazy results of actually selling your coaching course, community, whatever. Use a platform that makes everything seamless, which is pretty much these platforms right here, which I really, really do recommend. These two are pretty much free. This one's $100 a month, but it's the best by far. Like if you're selling $3,000 plus coaching, what's $100, right? And you're building the supply for the demand, like I mentioned before, right? So you with the market research, you're pretty much figuring out what people want, and here you're just building it, right? You're building what the people actually want. And once you finally have your offer, you have the content optimization down, you have the market research down, and you have the offer down, now you need to figure out how you're actually going to sell it. And you're going to sell it through a funnel. And the most important thing when we're talking funnels is quality over quantity every single time. It's a lot better to have few qualified leads than lots of unqualified leads. Now, you're selling to better than now at this point, the person you're selling to better than they know themselves. The offer is exactly what they need and they know it, right? But the only problem here is that they need information. They need more information because they want to be educated buyers. Everybody wants to be educated buyers nowadays. So our goal here is to create a process which they'll go through which is pretty much in the marketing world called funnel, which is pretty much getting them, it's informing them, further informing them, and actually helping them transition and get into our program, right? Pretty much just onboarding them. So there's so many different funnels you can run, but here are just the main funnels which I'm seeing people use, and from there you can sort of make a decision of what's going to work for you best. Now, the first funnel that I want to talk about is a webinar funnel, and it's hyping up a specific date, and at the end of and it's going to pretty much be a call where hundreds can attend. It's going to be a day, you're going to have a really big group call, and you're pretty much going to walk them through a presentation. At the end of the presentation, there's going to be a buy now link at the end of the call, and there's going to be a pretty high conversion rate. So it's just going to be cool, and the call is pretty much going to be a video sales letter, but it's not really a video sales letter. You're just going to be talking to them. At the end, there's going to be a buy now link, and then you're going to be able to ask people, people are going to be able to ask you questions. Then pretty much the most popular funnel in existence is the video sales letter funnel, also known as the VSL funnel. And essentially you're going to have a VSL, so which is going to be a video that explains your product or service, finds out the pain points, the desired outcome, and gives a strong offer plus backed up with tons of proof, which would pretty much be this right here. And then in terms of here, we're just going to have our offer, so market research, results, time frame, and guarantee, like we talked about before in our offer section. So this would essentially be the offer statement that we're going to put onto our website. Then we're going to have a pre-call, which is going to be nurture. So after they book in the call, they're going to be redirected to this new sales page where they're going to pretty much be confirming their call and more information to review. So after the call's booked, they're going to ask to confirm it, and they're going to have you're going to have the opportunity to showcase even more results to build undeniable proof before the call. So they're pretty much pre-sold before the call, pre-call flow. You're going to pre-sell them, right? So the next funnel, which has been popularized, I'd say in the beginning of 2024, but people are using less and less now because they're understanding the importance of different funnels as well. But there's going to be the DM funnel. So it's going to be, you can DM them a certain keyword, and there's going to be many chat automation where they're going to respond, and then after that an appointment setter is going to take over. Now you can find a really good appointment setter on onlinejobs.ph. I think I have it over here. No, but you're going to find a really good appointment setter on onlinejobs.ph, $300 to $500 a month, 10 hours plus per day. You'll get a pretty good deal. You just need to train them up. Now you don't want to just be talking whatever, you want to have an actual DM funnel in process. So what does a DM funnel actually look like? First we're going to have the intro, then we're going to want to actually qualify them. So, you know, first off, building the gap, and also seeing if they can actually afford whatever we're selling. Then we're going to have to transition. So do they actually need help? Propose the call, and then book now, right? There's going to be a book now. You're going to send them a book now link. Now you want to give a reason to do it now when you're actually saying book now. Then the next sort of funnel you can run is a Skool or Discord funnel, whatever you really want to call it. And it's going to make people problem aware, educate them of the actual process, give quick value, and the goal here is to actually, you can upsell them. That's the main thing. So even if you're charging $20 a month, you want to upsell them into your $2,000 coaching, and it really just depends on how engaged your audience is. Now, what you can also do is you can run ads, and your ads are going to be, let's say you're selling this for $20, that's going to cover your ad cost, and then you're going to get a huge list of really warm leads, because obviously we have the ascension funnel, which means that a paying customer will stay in motion. So a paying customer, let's say they pay you $50, then $500 product, and then, you know, the coaching for, let's say, $2,000 or whatever. But the main thing here is you're getting people who are going to stay in motion, right? So your ads might not be profitable, but long term they're going to be profitable, and they're going to get your name out there. Then we have lead magnet funnels. This is an example of a lead magnet funnel that I actually made for one of my clients, and it's just going to be a simple landing page. You know, doesn't give access to anything. It's just going to show the headline. When they click on the video, pop-up's going to come up, which is going to be something like this: collect info, you know, full name, email, and phone number, and then it's going to get the info for the training, and they'll be email retargeted. That means we're going to be running email campaigns at the back end of this to actually be retargeting all of these people, and the VSL, well, the video that they're going to watch after that is pretty much going to be just educating them. So showing them the video, telling about the guy's come up, calls out all the guys in his situation, and leverages pains and his chain to get people to actually apply, right? After that, he's actually going to qualify. So when they scroll down a little bit, there's going to be a type warrant to see if prospects are actually serious. And they're going to say this application is only for freelance brands and scalers who have the funds to invest in their learning. And then after a while, they're going to be like, what's your budget? So under 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, you guys get the point, right? So we're just pretty much disqualifying everybody with under $1,000 for most coaching offers, unless your coaching is like $5,000 plus. But you know, obviously not everybody's going to have the full amount up front. So you want to be collecting, let's say your coaching offers $5,000, you might want to collect, let's say, $1,500 and do payment plans for the rest of the money, just so that you can really maximize your revenue and actual cash that's collected, right? Well, by cash collected, I mean profit. So booked calls, after you're going to book the call, you're going to see if the prospect actually has money, and then you're going to have a setter qualifying these leads and booking calls. And in the beginning, I recommend just qualifying them yourself. Like, you're not going to be getting a stupid amount of calls. It's not going to be hundreds of calls. I really just recommend doing it yourself and just double checking it, because you don't need an appointment setter just to qualify your calls. It's really simple. But after you start getting to, let's say, 30 to 50K a month, that's when I really recommend bringing on an appointment setter. And you don't just want to bring a random funnel. Actually, I'm going to get into that in a second, because I want to talk about the last tool of funnel, which is the email funnel. You can do affiliate marketing. I don't recommend this though. This is really, if your audience is way too good and you need you just need any single way to monetize it, do affiliate marketing. Just do an email campaign and run up an email list. That's the best thing you can do, and then make money off of affiliates. Now, don't just pick a random funnel. You need to make a calculated decision if you want to make as much money as possible. And to do so, you need to ask yourself the following questions: where's my traffic coming from? Do my leads actually know me? Is it all cold traffic? Am I transparent with what I sell? Can they achieve the results alone? Do they actually have the time to spend? And you need to pause the video right now. Just pause the video and write all of these answers down to those questions to all of those questions, and use the following funnel based on your answers. So if the traffic's coming from YouTube, they know you. It's your first launch with, you know, you have a bunch of time. You can make it alone, right? And there's lots of spare time. I recommend doing a webinar funnel, email funnel, or a VSL funnel. And by the way, here by email funnel, I essentially mean the lead magnet funnel, so not the actual email funnel. Then it's going to give you a lot of practice. You're going to be able to practice with your pitch deck at the end, right? Then, you know, this is usually used for copywriting people, for people in sales, and for Amazon FBA people, so people selling these types types of courses. Then if your traffic's coming from Instagram, not everybody knows you, your product isn't really being pushed, and results can't really be achieved alone, and they have a ton of spare time, I recommend doing a lead magnet or a DM funnel or a Discord or Skool funnel. Now your story, here you're going to be showcasing your story and how you actually achieve the certain results. So it's going to pretty much be value plus call to action, and mainly this is going to work for drop shipping type of people, TikTok shop people, so people selling TikTok shop courses, and people selling trading courses. That's the main people that this is going to work for. Now the next sort of people is going to be traffic from all platforms. Now not everybody knows you, but your product is public, results are hard to achieve alone, and there's not much time. This is mainly going to be good for VSL funnels, for email funnels, which by the way, here again, I mean the lead magnet funnels, and then free training funnels. And by free training, this is also just a different sort of lead magnet. So it's a little bit different, but it really also just is a lead magnet. Now you're going to list out their desires, pains and problems, and give them an actual solution. And this is mainly used by people who are in client acquisition, AI infrastructure, and e-com, right? Now there's no best funnel. You really just have to use the funnel which matches your audience the best, and you can figure it out with this over here. Now there's different types of places where you actually build your funnel on, and let's just compare them real quick. So first off, we have ClickFunnels, which is best for non-live funnels. I like ClickFunnels the most. I use ClickFunnels for pretty much all the funnels I work on. Then we have Go High Level, which works fine, has everything. It's pretty much it's a CRM, and it's just a CRM, so it's pretty simple to use. And I'm pretty sure ClickFunnels is around $100 a month, Go High Level is $300 a month, and then we have Webinar Jam, which I'm pretty sure is also around $100 a month, and it's only effective for webinars and lives. Now if you decide to create a VSL funnel, you need to actually leverage as much emotions as possible. It has to be both entertaining and educational. It can't sound like you're selling too hard, right? You can't be just shoving it down their throat. The more pain and solution to it, like the more pain and solution to it, you can actually call them out, right? So the more the person is actually going to listen. Like if you're I don't know, if you're still living with your parents or whatever it could be, right? Then you're going to make it around them and not you. So tell a story that actually resonates with your ICP, and you're going to know who your ICP is, when you're actually doing the market research phase. And of course, that's pretty much the main things that you need to touch on. And you can pretty much structure it like this: future pace, intro, builds credibility, who this is and isn't for, client results, your journey, your mechanism to actually get it work and how it actually works, how you differentiate yourself, step-by-step process, cost of not taking action, make clear what they do and what they can't do, and add 4 benefits of choosing you, and then a call to action. It's really as simple as that. And the main thing here that's going to perform the best in terms of VSLs is storytelling VSLs. They always perform the best because they can really just see the person behind the camera. And if you decide to create a lead magnet, you want to make it as good as possible, because people are actually going to read it, understand you. They're going to understand you a lot better. And the main goal is to get people interested. And when they get a lead magnet, they're like, if this is what I'm getting for free, what am I going to get on the paid stuff? And you want to structure it like this. You want to have a bold claim, proof and testimonials, who this is for, who this isn't for, story about how you actually got the results, step-by-step process of what you actually did, and a call to action at the end. And this could be something like a video, a doc, an ebook, and etc. And the main goal over here is to choose the best process. That's number 1. Understand the most effective type of funnel, build effortless experience for the prospect, create assets to educate them as much as possible, and how the supply will be made accessible to the market, right? You're pretty much making the supply accessible to the market with the actual funnel, right? So with the funnel, your goal is simply just to get as many people into your pipeline or process or whatever you really want to call it as possible. After that, we're going to have the launch preparations. You actually need to prepare for the launch. And the most important thing over here is to actually generate hype. So the more excited you make your audience, the more money they're essentially going to throw at you. Now, if you have a product or not, it doesn't really change the process. Now, strategy remains the same. If you're selling anything right now, stop, take time, and create a big launch that will change the trajectory of your business. Now, that's extremely important here. So how are you actually going to build hype? Well, on day 1, we're going to have an Instagram reel, And here you can have the Instagram reel script if you really want to insert it, and you're going to change all your YouTube descriptions, your Discord and Skool announcements, which would be something similar to this that we went through before in the power offers section, and you can have a story sequence, which is pretty much going to be similar to this what we went through inside of the story sequence section. And all of this is going to be call to actioning to an email list or a lead magnet. Now I recommend lead magnets here just because you're going to convert at a higher rate, but you're just going to be getting emails, newsletters, emails, phone numbers, and names. That's all you care about. You're building up the email list, you're building up the phone number list, so you can actually dial them, which I'm going to get into a little bit later, but those are the most important things there. Then from day 2 to 5, you're going to be posting stories on daily stories, so 2 lifestyle stories per day and 1 educational story per day, daily educational reels, daily educational emails, and daily reminders to read the emails inside of the Discord, and even on your Instagram, posting story sequences, not even sequences, 1 slide story, pretty much being like, yo, check your email and check spam, right? This is all call to actioning to the email list. And after around a week of building hype, you're going to want to actually launch it up. So on day 1, you're going to post your power offer. Instagram story sequence, that's number 1. We talked about that before. Discord or Skool power offer, we talked about this before. YouTube video, which is undercover VSL, we talked about how to structure VSLs. Instagram power offer reel, which is pretty much going to be really similar to your power offer. Dialer booking and appointments, you're just going to be calling them up and asking them if they're actually interested, and this is all going to be going into your funnel, and you're going to be running this for about 4 days. You're going to be shoving your offer down their throats for 4 days long. You can have Instagram story sequences on a daily, Discord or Skool announcements on a daily, Instagram power offer reels daily, and dialer actually booking in appointments, and this is all going to be going down your funnel. Now up until your funnel, you're going to want to run an email campaign, and on day 1 of the pre-launch, you're just going to do a test email and ask the subscribers to reply, so that you're actually going to get your emails into their inbox and not just their spam. On day 2, you're going to make people aware of the launch. On day 3, you're going to give your personal story. On day 4, you're going to give a little bit of a case study, and on day 5, you're going to give a waitlist email, so the launch is ready and the day after people get in. So you're pretty much just building hype over here. On day 6, there's going to be the pre-launch, so launch email, power offer with a call to action, and that's pretty. You really just don't need to overcomplicate this process. If you just have this in place, you're going to be absolutely, your offer is already going to be fantastic. By the way, if you need info, you need help with the emails or whatever, you can book a call with me, first link in the description. Now the next thing is YouTube. Now you can run a little bit of a YouTube launch sequence. Now on day 1, you're going to post a YouTube video that's going to announce an event in the community feature. So it's not going to be a video, you're just announcing the event in the community feature. On day 2, you're going to schedule a premiere and make people turn notifications on, and you're also going to say that inside of the community post. And on day 4, this is day 3, it's going to go live, and you're going to push all of the traffic to the landing page or your funnel, or really whatever you're selling, right? And the traffic from YouTube is warm, and it's a lot easier to convert. You can literally just post a VSL as a premiere and make people feel engaged, show up, love, they're going to love the traffic, and you're just going to push all of that to a landing page. And this should be an undercover VSL. So it's going to be a VSL, but obviously in your title, you're not going to say this is my VSL or whatever. You're going to phrase it as the best business models to start in 2024, or whatever it really could be. You're just going to phrase it as a little bit of a VSL. And the last and final thing that I want to talk about is Skool and Discord. Now on day 1, you're just going to post a really simple power offer teaser. You're going to be like, this is coming up, but it's not really here yet. On day 1 to 2 is going to be the pre-launch, so you're really just going to be engaging with everybody, answering questions. You might host a little bit of a call where you're also going to tease it a little bit. And on day 3, we're going to have the final power offer. Day 4 to 5, engage with all the posts again and get all the members onto a sales call. That's really important. And in the community, if the community is free, people will have a lot less commitment. But if they have already paid for the low ticket and found value, then you want to really keep things simple and ascend them, right? It can work on both platforms, but it needs to be minor adjustments. Now, what do I mean with ascending them? It's an ascension funnel. It's really, really simple. So here, let's say they're paying $0, and from the $0 community, they might get up to the $50 community, and from the $50 community, they might buy the $500 course, and from the $5,000 course, you can really get them to the $2,000 course. And as you can see here, let me actually just change the pen to green. You're just slowly ascending them up the funnel to actually getting to the more expensive products. And it's a lot better than just having $0 and not doing anything with the guys you kind of who can't afford it yet, but guys who will be able to afford it maybe after a little bit of time. So it's really important that you're slowly ascending them, and this is why Skool funnels are so important for guys with bigger audiences. Now, at the end of the launch, all the traffic that's going to be generated will get redirected to the funnel with the only intent of booking calls. If the offer is less than 1k, just send them a payment page and a Calendly, instead of a Calendly. But if the offer is under 1k, just make a nice sales page. You really do not need sales calls for offers that are under 1k. You only need sales calls for offers that are over 1k. And I really recommend you, I don't care what niche you're in, I've seen people make 20k a month in teaching other people knitting. So there's 99.9% of people can sell a 1k plus offer. Now the goal here is to get as many eyeballs within your audience that you already have, right? So engage with as much of your audience as possible, get as many leads and as many calls as possible. You don't care about closing rate when you're first just launching, because you just want to get as many people onto your calendar as possible, make people talk about your offer, collect personal details, and the goal here is how the market will get you into contact with the supply, right? And then once you've done this, once you've actually prepared for the launch and actually done some sort of a launch, you can actually start with the sales. Now the important thing here is that you're actually using every single lead. So you have to get the most out of every lead you get into the funnel. Now if you already have a sales team, really just take your time, chill, take a deep breath, review the sales calls, get the selling calls, the overall process, track the KPIs, and etc. And you can use all that information to improve every part about it. And if you don't, it's time to create your money making machine. Now at this point, you've already got a bunch of warm leads, they've scheduled the calls, but they're not ready for it yet, right? They booked the call. What actually happens after this? What's the process that happens after they actually book in a call? Well, first off, we're going to want to send them pre-call assets. Now, in terms of the pre-call asset creation, you're going to get the people to the call as educated as possible and respond to common objections and pre-handle objections. This is what you want your pre-call funnel to do. So pre-call VSL, frequently asked questions, explanation video, student interviews, spam wins. By the way, I see people just showing a few wins when they have hundreds. Spam as many wins as you possibly can, and how I did whatever XYZ. So you really want to showcase your journey. And in terms of the pre-call VSL, so the video that they actually watch after they book in a call with you is going to be, you're going to be going over the offer, how it can help, how you're special, and educate the people around the service, right? So you're going to want to talk about who you are, what they can expect from the call, case studies, who this isn't for, who this is for, what you specifically do, how it works, the expectation that you should set, and of course, thank you or sort of like see you soon sort of thing. So as soon as they book the call, there's going to be an automation, which is going to be immediate, by the way, and it's going to redirect them to the pre-call assets. And immediately after they get the pre-call assets, they're going to get an email confirming the time and location and link to pre-call assets. 48 hours before the call, they're going to get an email plus a testimonial inside of the email and a text reminder. 24 hours before the call, they're going to get an email plus a testimonial and of course a text reminder. 12 hours before the call, email reminder and testimonial plus text reminder. 6 hours before the call, mail reminder and testimonial and again text reminder, and 1 hour before, just an email plus text reminder. 15 minutes before the call, mail plus text reminder, and then right before the call, email plus text with the link to the call. Now when you're looking at this looks humongous, but this is what it takes to actually get them to show up onto the call, because after you've done all of this, the only reason why they won't show up onto the call is because they're not interested, right? At minimum, they'll cancel the call and you won't waste your time or your closer's time, right? And then in terms of manual actions, we also have a bunch of manual actions that we need to take, because we can't just rely on these actions right here. We're going to want to qualify prospects and confirm over the phone. So of course, in your calendar, you're going to be asking for their phone numbers. So max 4 hours after the booking, you're going to be calling them up, or your set is going to be calling them up. After the phone call, you're going to send them the VSL inside of the DMs or WhatsApp in case they didn't see it inside of the pre-call flow. 3 hours before the call, first meeting reminder just over the DMs. 1 hour before the call, second meeting reminder over the DMs. This is what you can be doing, or your closer can be doing. 15 minutes before the call, a third meeting reminder. 5 minutes before the call, link to send DM or WhatsApp, right? So that's fairly simple, and if they gave you the contact info, you can't waste a single lead, right? If they didn't book a call, automated action, right? 1 email every day for a week, then they'll get into the newsletter, right? So value email, call to action email, testimonial email, call to action email again, your transformation email, and then call to action email. You need to be sending all of this over a week to get all of the leads inside of your pipeline, right? And the manual actions, of course, you can't just rely on the automated actions. Wait 24 hours and dial everybody in. So you're going to be calling them up like, hey, why didn't you book in? Is there a problem? Whatever, right? Call booked, and then immediately you're going to dial them again, qualifying them again. And if you dial them and there's no response, you're going to text them, and then you're going to dial them again. After the dial, you're going to text them, and you're going to repeat this process around 4 times. Now, I really recommend getting a dialer to do this and just giving them, let's say, usually it's going to be, I would stick to around 3 to 5%, depending on how big the offer is. They'll get the share. So if you get them, so if the dialer gets them into the sales call, they might get, I don't know, $20, and they'll also get 5% of the deal if the closer just manages to close, right? And you may be asking yourself, how can you actually analyze your sales process? Well, you need KPIs, which is pretty much just short for key performance indicators. Now, your business will only grow if you track it. This is what every single person who's doing over 100K a month has told me. Every part of the process has to be tracked. So if there's any problem, you need to find it and solve it. If there's a low closing rate, review the sales calls. If there's no booking, look at the traffic, low show up rate, improve the pre-calls assets, right? It's all these little details that are extremely important. So it's extremely, I need to exaggerate this, that you track everything inside of a spreadsheet. Every lead will be put into a spreadsheet, and every step that they take will be tracked. Now, the key points to track are the actual calls that you booked, the pre-call assets consumed, the closing rate, the show-up rate, the AOV for high ticket, the funnel conversion rate, the dials made, the follow-up sent, and etc. And the goal here is to get as many qualified calls as possible, over 50% closing rate, depending on where your audience is coming from and how qualified they are. Don't waste a single lead. Build trust before the call with a pre-call asset, and you're pretty much telling them how the market gets a supply, right? Or pretty much the supply would pretty much be the sales call where you're going to be selling them the actual supply, but this is just before them. So we actually need to get them onto the sales call so that we can actually sell them the supply. And that brings me to my next point of, actually onboarding these clients. You're getting all of these clients now through this absolutely dialed in process. You actually need to onboard them so that everybody doesn't just like say, I need a refund or whatever, because that's the thing that we want to actually counter. Now, the main important thing here is to make everybody feel special. Everybody should experience an effortless experience of getting into your program, right? Getting value immediately and feeling part of something bigger. So invest into a CSM or get time in welcoming your students. Now, by CSM, I just mean Client Success Manager. Now, call closed, let's say you close a call, obviously to actually get them or consider them as a client, we actually need to collect the payment. And from here, you're going to have some automated action. So you can have an onboarding email, video explanation plus a first call booking where they can actually book the onboarding call. They can have access to the, private community or course, or / sort of like inner circle, whatever you want to call it. And manually, you're going to send them a message to confirm the first call 3 hours before the call and 1 to 2 days before the close. 1 to 2 days after the close, you're going to set everything up plus schedule the second call. Now, in terms of automated, you're going to send them an automated video, how the onboarding process is going to look like, what the next steps are, and first actions to do. On the onboarding call, you're going to talk about what the journey will look like. You're going to make a roadmap for them and get to know them a little bit better. From there, you're going to set up expectations on the journey, give them an overview of how everything will go, understand where they are and where they want to go, make a roadmap with them to their desire, give them the first 10 steps, and schedule a second call to see, just sort of check up on the progress. Now, the goal here is to make everybody feel welcome, set up everything to get them the results. The market bought the supply, and now you need to justify the purchase, right? That's pretty much what happened. And number 8, we actually need to fulfill on our promise. So the important thing here is that we're actually delivering good results. And the more results, the more case studies, the more trust, the more money you're going to make at the end of the day, which is why fulfillment is super important. And you also don't want to look like a scammer, or not just look like a scammer, you don't want to be a scammer to begin with. So that's why fulfillment is so important, and that's what we really do for our clients. We help them actually get insane results so that number 1, they don't look like a scammer, and number 2, they're actually getting good results so they can make more money. So if you want to become a client of ours, then you can book a call with me, first link in the description, and we'll help you build out everything that we're going to talk about in this video and what we've already talked about. Now, if you care about the progress of your students, they will feel important and work a lot higher, right? So you're going to create a file where you put all of your students, you're going to put all of your students, and you're going to track everything, like payment plans, progress, number of calls, service provided, struggles and wins. And this is where having an overview of the progress of everybody, knowing the success rate, see what's working, understand everybody, and always being updated on everybody's journey. And from here, the fulfillment is up to you, right? And I can't help you much, and it really depends on your product and what you're offering. So it's different for every niche, but you just want to create the best experience possible. And if you really want to do so, you can book a call with me and I'll help you do so. Now, the goal here is to get more results, to get as many results as possible and as quickly as possible. Now, you always want to be on track with everybody's results, because if you're always on track, if you're always like keeping up with everybody's progress, they're going to feel special, and they're also going to be more inclined to give you referrals. And referrals is another way where you can absolutely print money, but I'm going to leave that for another video. But that's super important. So if you're in tap with everybody, they're going to be so much more likely to refer somebody. And the average person, they'll at least have 1 to 3 people who they can refer you, and that's an extra 10 grand which you can put into your business, right? If they refer you 3 people and your coaching offers 3.3k, that's an extra 10k revenue for every single person after they've stayed maybe, let's say, 6 months, which is why like you really need to calculate these sorts of things, because you hear people making 200k a month and their audience is like 20k followers. How are they doing it? Because they have this entire process absolutely dialed in for themselves, right? They have referrals dialed in, they have all these different things dialed in, and when you're actually there, when you're at 10 to 30k a month, you actually need to really start scaling, and you need to be extremely clear on the goal, right? You have to decide where you want to go, and if you want to scale massively or just get a few more clients. So there's really 2 routes that you can go when you're trying to scale even further. There's number 1, paid traffic, where you'll pay for people to come into your funnel. Ads are simple because you don't really need to overcomplicate everything. Just test a few creatives with a limited budget and see what's really performing best, and create content with this structure right here. Hook, info, call to action. Really simple, really similar to what we actually had with the story sequence earlier. And with the hook, you're going to make a promise to the people. With the info, deliver the promise. And with the call to action, get people into your funnel. Now, the important parts are the hook and the phrase you say right after. So the more interesting you sound, the better the ad will perform, and you really want to create different hooks and just test different angles, right? Because trying different hooks and angles is the secret to ads, and that's why your organic launch is important, because when you do an organic launch and you collect 10 to 20k, you already know what hooks work, you already know what angles you can take to get more clients, and that's what's important over here. So if you want to scale to a massive operation, you need to do both tactics. Now, obviously you need to do both tactics. I'm also going to cover ads right now. So, organic traffic. So via organic traffic, viral content to get followers and get people into the funnel, which is the actual top of funnel side of things, right? These, like we talked about in the beginning of the video, day in the lives, just sort of like lifestyle stuff, buying a Lamborghini, buying a house, and you want to focus on top of funnel content on every platform. Your only goal is to go as viral as possible and to get people to know you. And this pretty much works for bigger niches, right? So you're going to want to do this if you're in drop shipping or if you're in social media marketing agencies. But if you're in a smaller niche, let's say helping B2B brands, this is not the way to go. If you're in a smaller niche, I recommend just sticking to middle funnel content as your top of funnel content, and just middle of funnel content and bottom of funnel content. But you really want to be niche if you're in a smaller niche. But if you're in a bigger niche like social media marketing, then you want to go top of funnel content to actually get people into your funnel. Now, you really don't want to overcomplicate it, and you just need to be yourself, because that's going to show you don't want to try and be somebody who you're not, because people are going to see straight through it. And the realist you are, the better the clients will be. Now, I don't know why I had this twice in here, but if you want to get a few more clients every month without spending your life with the camera, or if you want to get a bunch of clients pretty much, and you don't want to just be on your camera all the time, and you want to scale it in a way where you don't need to create even more content, you should transition into ads. But I only recommend transitioning to ads after you're at about 50k per month. And if you want to get more clients every single month and keep insane profit margins, you need to create content, right? just define the goal and go after it. So if your goal, you pretty much just need to figure out what you want, build systematic systems to scale and expand in the market. And if you need help with everything that I talked about in this video right here, you can book a call with me, first link in the description, and we'll have a little discussion. I'll help you scale up your coaching or consulting business to 25 to 100k per month in the next 90 days, pretty much just implementing everything that you see in this video and tailoring it to you specifically. It's completely done for you, just so that you can focus on actually creating content, which is what matters, which is what we actually talked about in the beginning of the video. Because at the end of the day, the more content you create, the more money you're going to make, and it doesn't make sense spending hours every single day optimizing your funnel, responding to people on Instagram, when you could be just creating even more content, which is what actually drives the business. So again, if you want to actually scale with a systematic approach and implement everything that I talk about in this video, then book a call with me, first link in the description.